Hi, in this video I'm going to explain about the viewports and how to navigate around this level. So first of all, if you want to move around this level, we have to hold right click and we have to press W to move forward and S to move backwards, D to move towards the right side and A to move towards the left side. So make sure we have to hold right click. So and we have to use this all the shortcuts. So we have to hold right click, move W, S, A and T. In order to look around the level, we have to hold right click and just we have to move the mouse so that we can look around this level. So by clicking on right click and move the mouse up, down, left and right to look around the level. Suppose if you want to move camera up and down, we have to hold right click and we have to press Q so we can move down. And if you press E and we can move up. So in this way we will move around. So by clicking on right click, WAST, and if you want to move up and down, we have to use Q to move down and we have to use E to move upwards. So the people who plays like first person shooter games, like for example like Call of Duty, Battlefield, so these are the common shortcuts to move the character front, back, left and right. WASD. So there is another way to move camera up and down. Suppose if you hold right click and left click and drag the mouse up direction, so the camera will move upwards. And if you drag the mouse towards down direction, then the camera will move down. And suppose if you want to increase the movement speed here, now when we press WASD, the camera is moving a little bit slow. Suppose if you want to increase speed of this camera, then here right side we can see there is an option like camera speed. So if you click on this and if you increase this value, then we can move the camera very fast. So it depends on your requirement. So basically it will be in the default like 3 so that we can move smoothly. In case suppose if you want to move very fastly, we have to change the value according to your requirement. Suppose if you want to zoom in, zoom out, we can use a scroll button also. So if you scroll up, then it will zoom in, and if you scroll down, it will zoom out. Same like if you hold right click and if you use W, it will move forward. If you use S, it will move backwards. And also if you hold left mouse button and if you drag the mouse front and back, still you can move around the level. Like if you drag down, then the camera will move backwards, and if you drag the mouse up direction, then it will go to the front. But most of the time I will use the right mouse button and WASD to move around the level. So suppose if you click on this, here we can see there are some options here. Suppose for example, if you click on this show FPS and it will show at what frames your game is going to run, and you can disable this. So there is the next option like field of view. So if you change the value, then see the camera is going to change the field of view here. So most of the time, like the people who play like first person shooter, they will change the field of view to higher values. So for time being, I will put the value to 90. So next option is like game view. Suppose if you click on this game view, it will hide all the icons in the level here. Sometimes if you want to test the level without any icons, so we can hide the icons by clicking on this game view. And also it has a shortcut. So if you want to hide this icon, we can press G. And again, if you want to unhide, then we can press G again. So next one, there is an immersive mode. So what is this immersive mode is like, suppose if you click on this immersive mode, it will make the viewport into the full screen. And there's a shortcut, like if you press F11, it will like maximize and minimize the viewport. So the next option is like high resolution screenshot. So what is this thing is like, suppose if you want to make a quick screenshot here. So for example, suppose if I press G and if I press F11 to make the full screen. And now if you want to make a quick screenshot for this thing, and we can click on this capture here. So after clicking now, see it has been saved in the default location so that we can open directly here. So if you click on this, it will make a screenshot of your game. So there's a next button like perspective. Suppose if you click on this thing, you can see there are other options like we can see the level from the top view. And suppose if you want to see from the bottom view, we can click on this bottom view, left, right. So these are the different views so that when we are making a games or something, sometimes we may require to see the level from the side view or top view in order to align the objects properly. So there is a next button here. So suppose if you click on this, you can see there are some options. So now at present we are on the lid. So what is lit is now it is showing the level with all the lights which is in the scene here. So suppose if you click on this unlit, now it is showing the level without lights. And you have other different views here like wireframe. So we can see the level totally in the wireframe mode. See other options we will use according to the situations. So for time being, I will go to the lit here. So there are some options in the show button here. So for example, if you want to like hide the grid or something like here. So if you go to the show and if you click on this grid, it will hide. And if you want to see it again, then we have to click on this grid here. So there are a lot of options like according to the example, when we create the level, we can enable and disable these options like fog. If you create any fog or something, then for timing, if you want to disable the fog, we can click on this fog option. So there are some buttons in the right side which we will use regularly here. So now this one is a select tool. So what is the use of this tool is we can able to select the different objects in the level. And the next one is like move tool. Suppose if you want to move the object from one position to another position, we can use this move tool. And there is a like shortcut also. If you press W, then directly it will go to the move tool here. So move tool is used to move the object here. Suppose now when we select the move tool here, you can see these arrows. So if you want to move in any particular direction, you can click on that axis and we can move this object here like up and down, left and right. So these are the things here. So here you can see like red is nothing but it's like an x-axis and green is nothing but it's like an y-axis and z is like it will show in the blue color. And now if you want to move the object in like two directions, you can click on this here so that now we can move in the y-axis and x-axis like y-axis. And if you move the mouse, you can move into the x-axis also. And if you click on this, we can move into the z-axis and x-axis. Suppose if you click on this middle mouse button, we can move into the all axis here, x, y, and z here. Now you can see there are like specific colors for each and every axis here. So not only in Unreal Engine, in any other all the 3D softwares, always the X will be in the red color and the Y axis will be in green color and the Z axis will be in the blue color here. And also you can see whenever you select the object here, you can see in the detail panel. So here you can see this is an like x-axis. So if you change this value, then it will move in the x-axis, and this is y-axis, and this is like z-axis. So in this way here we can change the positions of this thing by using the detail panels too. So the next button is like rotation. So the shortcut is E. So when you click on this rotation, so we can able to rotate the object in the specific axis here. So suppose for example, if we click on this, it will rotate in the x-axis. So see, whenever I rotate, now it is changing the value here in the x-axis here. Suppose if you click on this green, that is like y-axis. So if you click on this green and drag, then it will rotate in the y-axis. Suppose if you want to rotate this object in the specific angle or something here, directly you can type here. For example, if you want to rotate this object in 45 degrees, like in x-axis, so you can type like 45. So the object will rotate in the 45 degrees here. And for suppose if you want to reset all the values to the default here, so we can go to the details panel here and see here there is an option like reset. So if you click on this, it will go to the default values. And the next one is like scale tool and the shortcut is R. So if you click on this, you can able to see the scale pivot point here. So like suppose if you want to scale only in the y-axis, so we can click on this green and we can scale in y-axis, z-axis. So suppose if you want to scale this object in the uniform direction, so we can click on this middle white box. So just left click and drag so that it will scale in a uniform way. And also here you can scale in two directions. Suppose if you hold on here, so it will scale in x-axis and y-axis. Suppose if you hold on, suppose if you click on here, so it will scale in the z-axis and x-axis. So next you can see there are some snapping buttons here. So for example, here you can see there is an angle snap. So if you enable this angle snap, now whenever we rotate the object, it will snap to 10 degrees of angle. Suppose if you want to rotate it smoothly, then we have to disable the snap option here. So when we disable, it will rotate with a smooth angle. When we enable, it will start rotate with a 10 degrees of angle here. Same like for the move tool, like suppose now see it has been enabled. Now if you move this object, see it's gonna snap with 10 units here. And suppose if you disable this, you can move it very smoothly. And same for the scale too. And next, the last thing is suppose if you want to focus any single object here. So for example, suppose if you want to focus on this, and if you select this and if you press F, directly the camera will focus the selected object here. Suppose if you select on this and if you press F, then it will focus the selected object here. So for example, if you select the sky and if you press F, then it will totally focus total sky. So then again, if you want to go back here, we cannot see all the icons here. So for that, what we can do is we can select this any object here and we can click on F so that again we will go to the level.